94.9 FM The Game. I'm your host, Poddy Ali. We got DJ Superstar J of Shady 45 in the building. What's going on, player?
Oh man, chilling out, man, working hard. What's going on?
Man, everything. We appreciate you calling in, man. I was telling my host, you like one of the most important people to call in. And we've interviewed everybody, Chris Brown, all those people like that. But without the DJs, I don't think the industry will be moving.
Yeah, definitely. Without the DJs, where with music and parties and making records, you need us.
Right. Okay, man. I'm gonna get right to it, man. So, how did you get started in this entertainment business?
Well, basically, I started DJing when I was 12 years old, but it was just a hobby. I used to play basketball, and that was my main thing. And I got a scholarship to college. Broke my ankle when I started leaning more towards DJing because the scene out there wasn't too good as far as DJs. So I just brought my equipment out there and started DJing in college.
Wow. Okay, so you just took advantage of a situation that, you know, that's what's up, man. That's really dope, man. So, what can you say to an aspiring artist right now that's trying to they in the dark, they coming home, the house empty, mama at work, they ain't got no money. It's a lot of artists like that, man. They're just trying to make it in the game and see what's the first step they should do.
Well, basically, just even towards the first question, which you asked me when I started DJing, it was a little bit more far as with me. I just was just giving a basic short story, but uh, my story can relate to an artist that, is hungry or a DJ that's hungry that was trying to come up. You know, I wasn't, I wasn't playing with the talent to DJ, but I used my hard work and my consistency to be one of the prominent DJs in the U.S. You know what I
Right.
mean? I came from college. I did all the big parties from college. And then when I went back to home, I was back to Jay. I wasn't Superstar Jay. I was just Jay.
Right.
I'm in New York City where, the competition is everybody in New York City is doing the same thing. So you have to be different to stand out. So I basically just worked hard, put out mixtapes. People said I couldn't do it. They said I couldn't compete with the DJ Clues, the K-Slays. And I felt that I could compete with them if I show my consistency and put out good work. And from there, I didn't stop. I didn't really, my motivation is, when people don't believe in me, it makes me go harder. So
Right.
there's a lot of people that didn't believe in me, and I went hard, and I became successful as far as even with radio with Shade 45. TJ Self is one of my mentors. I was under him. He had a show on Sirius XM and Shade 45, and he decided to, do Love and Hip Hop. He had a whole lot of things on his plate. So, I worked hard to get my own show there, because he left,
Sweet.
and I had to, get my own show.
That's what's up, man. That's dope. So what is it that when did you get to a point? Did you come into any obstacles in your life, trials and tribulations, and what did you do to overcome those?
Is there any point of when I became with obstacles in my life?
Yeah, like any obstacles, any trials or tribulations that you've come through, like where you sitting there, you like, you know what, man, I don't know where to go from this DJ stuff. I'm ready to quit. What was that like, and how did you overcome it?
Well, for me, I never had an obstacle where I wanted to quit DJing. This is something I love to do. I love to entertain people. I love to see people dance. So, when you're coming from a standpoint where I used to DJ for free, before I used to get parties or get paid for parties, I did over 500 parties for free,
Wow.
doing it, and it wasn't because of being paid. It was just because of on the course of me DJing from 12 years old and putting out mixtapes and putting out and doing parties and doing it just for the love. It was a blessing for me to do something that I can get paid for. So I always tell people, if this is something you love, you never want to quit. because it's something you love.
Mm. Right. So in retrospect, you're saying you got to have a passion for it before you can even make some money.
I mean, if you come into any type of thing, and when it comes down to it, you want to make money off of the things you love. But if you're talented and this is something that you're passionate about doing, you know, you're not going to care about how much money you make or what level you're going to get because you started out doing it for love. Like I never in a million years when I was 12 years old doing mixtapes that I thought I would get paid for it or I thought I would have a job doing radio for 35 million people.
Crazy.
So it was never a point where I was like, oh man, I gotta stop, man. This is not working out. That's somebody that wants to get paid for it, or they ran out of passion. There's a lot of rappers out here, and I talk to them, and they're like, yo, why you still do music? And they're like, because I love to do it.
Right.
I come into this game to make money. My talent serves to make money. So it's like with DJing, like, I love to do it. Like, I'm satisfied and I want to get higher. I want to motivate and put other people on and show talent for music. So, that's my goals. So a person that, sometimes a person feels like they've been putting in a whole bunch of work, just sit back and say, yo, look where you started from.
Right. Man, that's crazy. That I mean, like it's people right there. A lot of people are listening. We got a little studio audience. A lot of people just in awe of what you're saying because that a lot of people, a lot of these artists, I invited a lot of artists in the building, and that's what they always say. Like the biggest thing they say is like, we not getting paid. Why should we, why we not getting paid and stuff like that. And I'll always tell them exactly what you just said, man. And
I mean, if you came in the game thinking you're gonna get paid and it might not happen. You know what I mean? It's just like basketball. People play basketball and the NBA only has 55 slots.
right,
You know what I mean? Over 500, 700 players playing in college, and then you add everybody else that's in all types of divisions. And you got to pick out of 55 people that's the best.
mm,
So sometimes with DJing, it's even with DJ, even with radio. Everybody's doing radio. It's up to you to work hard, and if it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, work harder. But as long as
exactly.
you love what you're doing, then it's never going to seem like, oh, I got to get paid for this.
Mm. Yeah, man, we really appreciate that, man. That because that was the biggest thing to what I always sit there and I'll tell artists and stuff like that. Because a lot of our guests call in and they like, man, hook me up, plug me in, and I'm like, it doesn't work that way, and I'll try to explain it to them. So that thank you for saying that because that's one that hit home with them. If an artist, how do you find an artist that's not on a radar? Do you really go look for them, or do you need someone to say, hey, yo, this dude is hot?
I mean, I look at it like this. If you're hot, somebody's going to find you hot. If you're talented, cool. Somebody, some people can search talent. It's a lot of, it's millions of talented people, but we go back to the talent's not going to open the door for you if you don't work hard.
Right.
Hard work outbeats talent all the time. So it's a lot of talented people that feel like, I'm talented, the opportunity's going to come to them. But there's a lot of people that are average, but they made their opportunity come. So, I look at with artists, what I look at is when people talk about you and you're hot and you're good, it's gonna trickle along. I look at people like when Bobby Shmurda and them was out. I didn't know nothing about them until 10 people came to me like, yo, did you see that? Did you hear that song? And I'm like, about who? They're like, Bobby Shmurda. And I'm like, who was that? I looked it up. Next 3 days, every label was calling for them. So, it's different. You know what I mean?
Right.
You might get that point where you're scorching hot, or you might just put in your groundwork and people start to recognize it.
Right. And I got one question. This is the last question. DJ Who Kid, he was on an interview. He was sitting there. He was talking about payolas and all this other stuff, right? And
Yeah.
I shared it on Instagram. I got so much crazy feedback, where artists is like da 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 da. So I'm like, with anything, you need a budget. Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
agreeing. I'm in FM radio. I'm not internet, so I'm FM. So we don't do payola or whatever. We're not gonna even talk about it. But like with the gist of what I was saying to them is like everybody needs a budget, and I think that's what DJ Who Kid was saying. It's like you need a budget. It's a million people hot. You need a budget. So a lot of people that was even people that discovered Lil Durk and Lil Bibby and Tink and all these other people, they were telling me that you don't need a budget. Man, can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, Who Kid's a good friend of mine, and sometimes Who Kid can say things, and I don't, you know what I mean? You know, Who Kid's a jokester, you know what I mean?
Right.
And like you said, to break it down in more better terms than Who Kid was saying is that you're going to have some type of money to sponsor your career. You know, and it doesn't mean that you have to give money to a whole bunch of DJs or money, but you're going to have some either way, you're going to have to pay. And I always tell people,
Right.
free costs too much.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Free costs too much. You know what I mean? And the reason why I say free costs too much is because a lot of these artists, you can ask them, all right, well, this dude said he can record at his house for free. Now you're not getting the best quality from a dude you have to pay.
Exactly.
You know, so you know, in things like videos, I know a million dudes with cameras. Are they great? Are they gonna, you know, make your music come alive with this visual? No, because you know what I mean. They did it for free. Like I said, you're gonna have to have some type of budget to sponsor your career. You can't just go out here. When I did mixtapes, I didn't mix CDs. I don't know how to make a CD. I
Right.
know how to put music on a CD, but I didn't make a CD. Those CDs had to be paid for. You know what I mean? Graphics. I'm not a graphic designer. The graphics had to be paid for. Who's going to do the graphics? You
Thank
going to
you.
do it? Oh, you're going to get on your app and have some unprofessional cover? A cover's like a job resume. If you got a trash cover, people might not look at it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I tell people that all the time. Yo, study what you do. Do what you do best. And pay the other person for what they do best. You know, I'm not a graphic designer. I can't sit here and make a party flyer because I don't know how to do graphics. But the guy that does it, I have to pay him. So I think that's what Who Kid was saying. A lot of things people think because you're talent, you're going to get it for free. You might get a couple of people that want to work with you, but how many times you going to ask for this guy to do graphics for you for free?
Right.
Unless if he's down with your team. You know? There's a lot of dudes that go in strip clubs. They throw a whole bunch of money on girls, and these girls are not playing your records.
Not at all.
They're moment. They're there for the moment, and you totally forget about the DJ. Not saying you got to go pay a DJ, but hey, hand the DJ a drink. Yo, where's your next party you gonna be at? I'm gonna come support you, me and my peoples.
Right.
You know that helps out a lot for a DJ. You know, but dudes want to spend a whole bunch of money. Oh, I don't spend money on girls. But you just do like $300 on a girl.
Right.
I mean, that moment of you throwing $300, that moment costs you 2 minutes of your moment with $300 of you giving, yo, you know what, yo, I love, yo, man, my name's such and such. Yo, here's $100, bro. Like, if you can play my record, I'll be appreciative. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like a lot of dudes come in these clubs, they don't have their song fixed. They don't have a label on their song. They want you to go down their record while you DJing, smoking at 2 o'clock in the morning. You want me to put on a record I never heard or heard. And just because you rap, you feel like your record needs to be played at the same time as Drake. When Drake been in a million-dollar
Right.
studio, whoever's been in a quality studio, but you just recorded this joint out your bathroom on your laptop.
Oh my God.
A party. It gets ridiculous, especially in New York.
Oh man, it's not. It's like that in the Midwest. I'm from Chicago. It's like that it's like that in Michigan. It's like Chicago. It's like all through here, man. And that's what I get. Like everybody want me to play their record on the radio, and I'm like, dude, it sounds like you in the hallway right now. Like you want
Yeah,
me to put that on next to
you
Drake?
you want all my hard work and you know what I mean, all your hard work that you did to get on this radio station. You didn't do nothing but just record a record. The quality's bad, and then on top of it, it's a lot of dudes that have no plans with this record. my first question to every artist is, what's the plan? Is this your single? Is this a record you gonna push? I know a dude that calls me every week with a new record. I'm like, how are you supposed to have people reciprocate or know your record if you send me a record every week?
Right.
It's some records that don't. It takes 7 to 8 months to work. You know what I mean? It's some records that take a month. It's some records that take a year. Down, baby. For Nelly took a year and a half.
Wow. Are you serious? A year?
Do your research. It's probably 2 years.
Right.
That was a record that was big in St. Louis, and then it started circulating. And then probably the second year it started getting to New York.
Right. Yeah, because in the Midwest, because I'm in the Midwest, he's right there, so it was popping over here. So yeah, it probably was different in New York, because you guys have that.
There's a lot of records, man. You in the Midwest, like a lot of records take a little bit longer to come down here. You know.
Yeah. Because if you're not hitting that little I call it a media circle, Breakfast Club, y'all, Shade 45, Sway in the Morning, it's like 3, 4, 9, Hot Power 95. I mean, all those like out there. That's when you know you're doing a little bit. 'Cause every artist hit that, and that's when you know, okay, they making a little noise.
Yeah, it's a commercial stage, but stations like you know what are you doing? People tend to forget that they want to go
Right.
straight to the they want to go straight to the Shade 45s because they don't think about this artist has over 1 million followers, has over 1 million downloads, or they're selling independently records, and they want to compare themselves to them. Like I had Hobson on my show last week. A lot of people were like, who the hell is he? Is like this
Right.
dude is selling records independently for 5 years, over 1 million followers, and people don't understand that. You got to work hard to get on these stages. Go from the bottom to the top. Stop worrying about the big DJ. Worry about the small DJ. Get to him first.
Right. Where does that mindset come from? And that's what I wanted. Like the state of hip hop now. Do you are you in agreement with it, or because all their mentalities is like that.
As far as music or just how
Music, just period. The whole culture, man. I mean, you can put it all on an umbrella. I mean, I know you don't got a lot of time. All on the whole umbrella, the whole culture of hip hop. Where do you feel like it's going right now?
I feel like this, man. When we had the hip hop culture, it wasn't the biggest selling music out. Now that we have a culture where different kids are doing different things, it's just not about hip hop or being hip hop, where some older artists consider that's not hip hop, that's not rap. No, it's different forms of rap.
Right.
A lot of kids that you might say it's the mumble rap, but they have fans, they have a fan base that people are buying their records. So who am I to criticize on their music when they have people that love their music? Even if they love it for a moment or they love their music for 6 months, it added on to the hip hop culture. So for me to criticize on anybody, they have to have some form of talent or some form of perception why people are listening to them.
You're absolutely right, man. We thank you for calling in, man. I get smiles from ear to ear in the studio, man. I really, really appreciate this. Can you holler out your social media so people can know where to reach